Push that button and push that button, push that button. And I gotta push. Where's the other button? Well, this button right here. There we are. Hey.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing out there? I hope it's warm wherever you're at.
Hey, Joe, what do you know?
It's cold outside.
Ooh, it
Cold
is.
and raining. They
It
dropped
sure
sleep
not.
and we have sleep.
Sleep?
It's horrible. Yeah, here in a minute.
No. No, I don't want no sleep, brother. You keep all that.
No fun. I'm sitting in the house with a stocking cap and a flannel on.
I see that. Turn the heat up. Make it tropical.
Yeah,
Hey,
I think it's too hot.
well, we've already burned a big cylinder of gas. We've got to call next week and have them deliver some more because it's down to 25%.
Yeah.
And it hadn't really been cold here, but for some reason, I've been missing Florida or something because I've had that thing on since like September, and I've had it on about 78, 80 degrees in the house.
Yeah. Oh, geez. It's been warm. Been super warm. Been running around in flip flops and shorts.
Oh, yeah. I walk around the house in shorts all year round. Just keep me a pair of workout pants close where I can pull them on if I need to go outside.
Yeah.
Morning,
I put on thermals and then pants.
I got some of those active wear thermals, like the neoprene or whatever they're called. And I love those. But it ain't been cold enough here for that.
Oh. Yeah, it's getting good. It's here now. And it's wet outside. So it's like, ugh. So I'll throw on some thermals, and then I've got like those Columbia fishing pants. They're like wind and water resistant. And so they work real good in the cold because you got the thermals on to keeping you warm, and then it keeps everything off of you.
Right.
So and throw on and I've got tons and tons of long sleeve t-shirts. I got them every color you can buy. I found them on sale and just started buying them.
Did you get them from the place we ordered the shirts from, brother?
No, I got them from the Walmart.
I'm just picking.
I got them from the Walmart.
Hey, everybody, Mafoos, I didn't see a call from you. I apologize. I've been kind of busy today, so I didn't realize you called. Is everything okay, brother? So, what is crypto doing today? Well, it's up about $100 from yesterday, ish.
99.
Yeah, it's ish. What is it going to do? Well, we're getting close to the weekend. Everybody knows that usually the price is better on the weekends than it is during the week. Because you've got people working and doing things. And then on the weekends, those part-time traders, they jump in and start doing stuff. And if a big fish wants to move something, they'll probably move it on the weekend. And most of the time, they'll do it because they have less resistance. So it appears to be less resistance on the weekends. We will continue to watch that. Again, for all those folks that were holding, you're just going to either need to. There's two ways you can look at this. And I was talking to a buddy of mine this morning, and he says, "Well, we didn't capitalize on a great opportunity." I said, "Well, nobody really saw the market tanking. I mean, there weren't any indicators, although people that were talking about signals, they were talking about getting out. And so none of us got out. And so I was talking to my buddy this morning, and he's like, over coffee, he called me and he says, hey man. I said, what you doing? He said, I'm drinking my Ninja coffee. I said, okay, what we talking about? He said, this trade thing. I said, okay, let's talk about it. He said,
what's a Ninja coffee?
I don't really know what Ninja coffee is. It's coffee with a bunch of herbs and stuff in it, and I'm not real sure exactly what's in it. We'll have to ask Ken about that. But yeah, he makes his Ninja coffee every morning. And he makes a lot of noise doing it, and it really irritates a lot of people. I don't care. Usually he's on my ear. I just listen to the noise. I could care less. But anyway, we were talking about the market, and he said, "Well, what do you think about the market?" And I said, "Well, I think this." I said, and of course, I'm not an advisor or a financial consultant, but he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Well, I think I'm going to wait a little bit and see, where it goes." And then he said, "Well, what do you think everybody's doing?" And I said, "Well, it depends on who you talk to." I said, "Some people are going to tell you if you miss the signal, sit still, wait for it to go back up till you're comfortable, then jump out, and then you can either jump back in and continue riding the wave or whatever." I said, "Or you might talk to some people that would tell you get out now." So in other words, take that big hit and then jump right back in and ride the wave up. And either way is going to be correct. Either way, because you're going to equal out, right? If you do things correctly, you're going to equal out. So it's not a do or die. It's not a one way does it kind of thing. There are many different ways. What I was just trying to get across to him was real simple. If you're out, you want to get as close to your in price as possible. If you want to get out and get back in because you still want to get as close to your in price as possible. So you want to close that gap, And he was like, "I think I'm just going to sit still." I said, "Most people are going to sit still, at least today. At least today. Now, they'll probably make a move over the weekend, but they'll sit still today." What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I like how you said that, Chris, because I'm gonna give a real short crayon version of what Chris just told you. Nobody knows. Do whatever the hell you want to do. Lose your money, think you're gonna save money, think you're gonna win your money. You need your money, grab it. You can always put it back in. It's low. And none of us are looking at. Okay, this is the kind of way we're looking at it. If you're brand new into this and you just found out about this stuff last week, you're going, wait a second. It was at 3,400, then it went to 400, then it went to 4,000, then it went down to 30. Now it's at 3,701 right now is what it says. And you're going, ooh, and you're excited and you're freaking out. The rest of us are going, I don't want $3,000 Bitcoin. I mean, it's not doing me hardly any good to have it at this value or to pull out of it at this value. You know what I mean? Like it needs to go up. Like I'm a holder, or holder or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm holding. Now, I'm not going to lose money right now on a $300 difference because I don't need the money right now. Okay, yeah, I don't need the cash out. Now we're talking strictly Bitcoin. Now the other thing is, your altcoins that are moving. Look at your other stuff. This is a real good opportunity, and I've said this before, to see the strength of your other investments. Like you invested in Tron. Tron looks great. Okay, I bought Tron when Bitcoin was around like $7,000, I think. You know what I mean? And I'm up. So that's a pretty good deal. And I could be wrong about that, but I know Bitcoin was higher than I bought it. I've had it for a while. You know what I mean? Now I did buy a bunch of altcoins when we were up around $8,000. So a lot of that stuff's losing. But a lot of that stuff that I bought, even though I'm not gaining money on it, because I bought it when Bitcoin was at 8,000. I bought it at market highs. Well, it's still getting 100 plus gains sometimes. It's in the biggest gainers list, some of those things. Some of those little altcoins that I have that are companies that are doing things that are kind of off that radar. Or something that somebody heard about and went, oh, hey, this is a big deal. Look, this is a great thing they're doing. Now is a good opportunity to look at your other investments. And this is the thing, we got really used to $6,500 Bitcoin.
Right.
We got used to it in that range. It was there for months and months and months. But there's a whole lot of people out there that were used to $1,000 Bitcoins and $400 Bitcoins. All this growth has happened. This large growth has happened in the last couple of years.
Right.
It wasn't over $1,000 ever until a couple of years ago. Then it went to $20,000. Hey, buddy. But and then it bumped up to that 20, and then people are going, "Where's the 20,000? 20,000 never should have happened." You know what I mean? That's not. It shouldn't have. You know what I mean? All it does is throws the market off, and people go back and like you're trying to run like your Fibonacci retracements and stuff like on your stuff, and go, "Oh no, it's going to go here." No, your lines are wrong because 20,000 isn't right, and that went through the whole market. You know what I mean? I'd look at that $8,000 high as a high for Bitcoin. I really would. That's kind of where I base it, and I don't go way back. Like, 8,000 wasn't not that long ago. You know what I mean? This is where we're looking at our most steady, profitable thing was 65. You know what I mean? We're having a hard time breaking resistance at 4,000. We're having hell with it. You know what I mean? And it's just true. Why is that? Is that because regulation? Is that because investors? Is that because they're going, "Oh, the EFT isn't coming," or "It is coming," or "It's not coming"? It doesn't matter if it does or not, guys. I hate to tell you this, but it really doesn't have shit to do with your investing. You know what I mean? And this is the thing: you're watching, and you're getting news from these things where this operates in an investment field that is most likely, if you're talking to us, the investment field everyone's talking about is out of your grasp, probably. You know what I mean? This is
right.
There's two different types of trading, and you need to pay attention to what you're doing. You know what I mean? And I'll just be honest with you, maybe trading Bitcoin isn't the thing you need to be trading. You know what I mean? If you're not getting enough movement, then you can't earn the money right. You know what I mean? Institutionally, you got to think they're trading with hundreds of millions. You know what I mean? And billions. That's not a joke. I mean, I'm not making numbers up. You know what I mean? We're not buying one piece of Apple stock. You know what I mean? We're buying, 10 million worth. I mean? Big trading companies, they use Buffett style numbers, not us. I'm going to buy, I got 3/4 of a Bitcoin and I'm going to put over here. You know what I mean? And that's not being mean. I'm in the same boat. You know what I mean? But it's how you have to think about it. An investment is something that you put money into and shut your eyes. You know what I mean? Just close your eyes. Don't even look at it. You know what I mean? Get alerts when it goes up. Okay, that's an investment. Are you investing or are you trading? You know what I mean? Are you trying to long trade? Are you trying to short trade? Are you trying to day trade? And this is where your education comes in because you kind of need to know what you're doing. And I don't know if Chris and I confuse people. I think sometimes maybe we confuse people because we do a bunch of different things. And I mean, I'll be off doing arbitrage. You know what I mean? And Brody's going, what do you mean you're doing arbitrage? What's arbitrage? You know what I'm going, well, it's when I trade money for more money that's worth more. I trade the same thing worth more over here. You know what I mean? Or, and it's like that. But that's why we really don't give advice because we're all over the place with it. But it's because we've got our hands in a bunch of different little things. Right. You know what I mean? We're not going, okay, here, boom. Now, if I see Bitcoin taking a thing, a big jump. Okay, but I'm gonna have to see a big jump. You know what I mean? It's like it needs those big leaps like we were getting. You know what I mean? We're getting $500 a day growth on a consistent status. You know what I mean? And the difference in buying $3,000 Bitcoins or $3,700 Bitcoins and $4,500 Bitcoins or $5,000 Bitcoins, it's not that much difference, guys. You know what I mean? It really doesn't on your purchasing factors. And unless you're playing with 10 or 20 Bitcoin, you know what I mean? Then that's a difference. You know what I mean? But like most investment houses, most traders won't even deal with you unless you have 10 Bitcoin. And they brought it down to 10, and now I've seen a lot of them are jumping back to 20 because they're seeing the stability in the market. You know what I mean? They're going, okay, this is what we're doing. Now, all this stuff's happened. A lot of people have jumped out. And now this is another thing that you need to keep in mind that's kind of, it's going to come across as a lie. It's come across as a lie. The amount of Bitcoin that's out there, 17 million and 17.5 million or something like that right now, I think, or something in that realm. There's only going to be 21 million. Okay. Now, when banks start loaning with Bitcoin, which they will, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Loans are going to be made in Bitcoin. They're going to be factored with Bitcoin even. You know what I mean? And the whole idea is they're going to loan you Bitcoin when it's worth $3,700 and say you owe me. They're going to give you $37,000 loans. They're going to go, I'm loaning you 10 Bitcoin. Now, when Bitcoin goes up to 6,500, you still owe 10 Bitcoin. That doesn't
Right.
matter. You're like, but no, but that's $65 for the Bitcoin. They're going, no, we didn't loan you dollars. We loaned you Bitcoin. You get it? As soon as
There's
it's
a difference,
advantageous,
guys.
they will take advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they will take advantage. And these are things people listen to. Now, at which point they start actually loaning in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
That 21 million Bitcoin become a minimum. Well, however many they have. You know what I mean? You multiply it by 10. That's called fractional lending. All they have to have is 1 Bitcoin to loan you 10. That's all they have to have. So why wouldn't they do it? So the idea of there's only so much Bitcoin, you need to get that out of your head for a little bit. And with every fork, you're creating more of it too. You know, I mean, Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin, guys. I mean, it just has a different name. It's a different fork. Everybody looks at it as something completely different. It's not different at all. It's the same damn thing. You know what I mean? And it really is. It's, you know, and that's with the BCH, well, it's all just BCH now. But, you know, and with SV and all these things. And this is where you need to educate yourself and kind of, you're going to have to take the blinders off a little bit and get in that financial, nobody matters but the money, me and the money. That's how you have to think about business like this. Now, I'm not saying act that way. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to act that way. I mean, unless you just want to be real super successful. You know what I mean? It'll probably work for you. You know what I mean? But I mean, but it's weird because you don't want to be a shit, but you need to think like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And basically, you know, Joe's correct when he says you need to correct your thinking and that we may or may not confuse some people. Our object is not to confuse people. However, you know, we talk here, Joe and I talk here much like we talk off camera. And so we will be talking about what we're doing and where we're going and what we've been doing in not really paying attention, I guess is the best word to say, about, you know, what's being filmed and what's not being filmed. And so, you know, the honest story about Bitcoin and day trading is everybody day trades different. You could talk to 100 people and they're going to have a different thing that works for them. All 100 people are going to have something that's different that works for them. Okay, so when you're listening to people, when you're learning from people, when you're watching what people do, that's not a bad thing at all. Okay, but know that you've got to put your own spin on it. You've got to have your own mentality about it as well, because okay, Joe and I are sitting here right now. We're both day trading, okay? He's arbitraging more than I am. I'm not arbitraging at all right now, actually. But I know where I want to go, okay? So I have this goal that I want to get to. Now, when the market dips or it goes up or it flatlines, you know, you got to change your strategy. You still have to get to where you're headed, okay? So you're still taking the same steps to get to where you're headed. You're just stepping in a different direction. You're using a different tool, okay? For instance, your mass action lines, a lot of people like to call them mass action lines. You've got a 2-day high, a 2-day low, and a 20-hour, okay? You got to pick one and stick with it. If you're day trading, you pick one and you stick with it. Unless your market takes a severe change like it did yesterday. Okay? When that happens, then you need to factor in, you know, you need to factor in your 2-day lines. Specifically, if you're working with the 20-hour, you want to factor in your 2-day lines, and you want to divide your high into your low and kind of project, you know, what your medium price is. See, a lot of people don't even pay attention to the lines and the movement. What they do is they will look at the 2-day high and the 2-day low and the 20-hour, and they'll do some division and some addition, and they'll come up with a number, okay? And this number may not even be on the radar at that particular moment. We'll just say right now we're hovering around, what, 37? So we'll just say that maybe their number is 32, Okay, well, now we haven't seen 32 in a while, and I hope we don't see 32 just because I said this. But their number might be 32. So what they would do is put in a limit order. Okay, they put in this limit order for 32, and they walk off, y'all. They walk off. Now, the wild, crazy, mind-boggling thing about that is, if enough people put in that same number at 32, it's going to drive that market to 32 regardless. Okay, and it's just you can call it law of attraction, you can call it manipulating the market, you can call it a lot of things, but people that know how to read markets, know how to read charts, know how to read projections, they're going to see that 32 out there. And if the right person, namely a whale, sees that 32 out there, they can make the market shift just like that in a snap of a finger. Okay? That is a completely different way of trading than I trade. I don't trade that way. Okay? I don't know that I would call myself smart enough to do that. I know how they do it. But I'm not going to trade that way. Yeah, Joe. I know we're at the 2:22 time limit. Yep. So, just be cautious, y'all.
Yeah.
Just be cautious. Choose your poison.
Keep educating. Yeah, and kind of have an idea. Like right now, Chris said put a sell. Yesterday he said he had a sell order in. Yesterday and before. Yesterday. Around 4. At 4 or something, or wasn't it 4:42 or something?
40:20.
It might be a minute before he gets there. Now he's okay, but and you got to kind of make your own mind up where you're at. You know what I mean? It all depends on your scenario. But when you start shifting mid game, you need to have a game plan. You know what I mean? And when you start changing, know damn well what you're doing. Chris knows what he's doing. He knows if he sells out early, he's taking a loss, but he's planning on jumping in low enough that when he gets up to where we are right now again, you know what I mean, or where we're going to go, that you can make those things. There's just a little bit of math, and it's not that hard either. Get a scratch, a paper, and a calculator, and get you a number 2 pencil with an eraser, because you'll probably make a couple mistakes. So, you know what I'm saying? But it's really not that hard. But figure out, just computate your losses. And the trick to being a good trader isn't making a whole bunch of wins. It's about making very few losses. Your money setting will gain. You just want to make sure you don't lose it. Hey, the Byte BTC thing. Update on that, guys. If anybody was over there, I'm in contact with them. They've got good contact going. I really don't think they were fucking everybody up. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Screwing all of us out of our money. I think something really did happen, because they're like, please send us information, and we want to get the information just back to you.
Yeah.
They get everybody. So they're in Singapore, and in Singapore you get in trouble for stuff. Like, it's not, their law is serious. You know what I mean? And so to operate a business in Singapore, it is pretty strict. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping, you know what I mean? And that's one of those things where out-of-pocket money, it wasn't a whole bunch, but what that out-of-pocket money had built to, at the time of it increased a fair amount.
Right.
It was all what I was arbitraging with.
Right.
So it's like, wait a second. You know what I mean? But I was still saying, if I can get it working, it's amazing.
And here's the other thing. Joe talked about losses, and sincerely, I have to jump off here in about 2 minutes. But Joe talked about losses, and what I want to say about losses is we all have them. Okay, we don't talk about them nearly enough. All right. So, when it happens, I'm going to pledge to talk about the loss and how it came to be and what I did wrong or whatever, where I made my mistake, because I want people to understand we all get losses. But this is the key. You want to mitigate your losses by calculating your exit strategies to where your loss is as small as possible, because every time you take a loss, okay, and there's nothing wrong with taking a calculated loss, all right? When the market does something crazy, take a calculated loss, but know that you took it, and then know that you have to make up that difference. So, it's not about making 5,000 today and losing 6,000 tomorrow, and then the next day making 3,000. Well, you didn't make 3,000. Okay, because until you close that gap between your loss and your earning, you haven't made anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so just make sure that you check that out.
Right.
Hey Joe, I really appreciate you jumping on here with me today. I apologize for the speedy call.
Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry, I was hard to rouse up earlier. Yeah, we've all been sick, and I was I passed out in the tub, man. Sorry.
No worries, brother.
Oh shit, Chris, why aren't you answering me? I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, why am I in the bathtub? Water's cold.
We love you guys.
Knocks you out, man.
We appreciate you coming.
Oh yeah, take it easy.
We'll talk more about trading and calculated risk. And hey, who knows what else we might talk about?
Your money out
right?
It'll go back up, guys.
We'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.